right, good evening. I've got 6:30, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the May 13th meeting of the Merrimack Conservation Commission. We have no public hearing scheduled for tonight, so we'll go straight into new business. Actually, we're missing Gage. Tom, would you be a voting member tonight?
Okay, yep.
Thank you. Tom is going to be a voting member for Gage. All right, so the first item we have under new business is John Rutka. I hope I pronounced that right. Apologize if I didn't. And 526 DW LLC owners request for approval for a waiver of full site plan review for a 9,900 square foot building addition. The parcel is located at 526 Daniel Webster Highway in the C2 General Commercial Aquifer Conservation and Elderly Housing Overlay Districts and Wellhead Protection Area. The tax map identification is 5D-2 Lot 001. It's case number PB 2024-09. And if you would, sir, just, say your name for the record. Make sure your green light is on the, on whichever. Yeah.
Good evening, John Roque with Roque Consulting. I got some little handouts of the same image if you guys wanted, otherwise if you can see it, that can do either one. So yeah, this is Morgan Self-Storage. Basically, the gist of the application is the parking that's across the front of the building right now. He wants to just enclose it into, put an addition on the building with new garage doors, and there would be, it'll all be indoor parking where it's outdoor parking right now. We were in front of the planning board last week, and they conditionally approved the project. Pending us coming to you guys and going over everything with you as well. In terms of drainage, this site he had done some additions to it, I think in 2021, and the alteration of terrain had been all updated, and all of those improvements have been installed, and all of this drainage goes right to that anyway. It was all impervious surface with the parking lot, and it's still going to be impervious with the new building. So.
I guess that's the highlight. The number of impervious square feet don't change at all.
No. No.
Was any of that area that was parking lot before used for snow storage?
No, it was right up against the building. They had parking. There's a little bit of landscaping in there that he's actually going to relocate. He got a big tree spade, so some of those bigger trees that are in front of the building right now, he's going to try to move them around on the property so none of them actually get lost. Mm-hmm. But some of them are pretty big, so I don't know how it'll work with some of the larger ones. But
right.
Most of them are going to be relocated all over the property, so. It should improve things in other areas anyway.
And do you remember, when did you go to the planning board?
Last week.
Okay.
I think it was Tuesday night last week. And I think they already wrote a notice of decision too. May 8th. Yeah, I have a notice of decision from them already, so.
Does anyone have questions? Okay. All right, this one was pretty cut and dry. Thank you for coming and talking to us about it.
No problem.
I'll send an email tomorrow to the planning board just to let them know that you came, we met you, and we had no concerns.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item we had under new business is Merrimack Parcel A LLC, care of Thomas Monahan, applicant owner. It's the request for approval of an amended site plan for mixed-use development in accordance with Merrimack Park Place mixed-use conditional use permit. The proposal calls for a 100-room hotel, an approximately 19,500 square foot two-story mixed-use building containing restaurant, commercial and office space, and a 178 multifamily residential unit building. The parcels are located at 1, 2, and 4 Lexington Court in the I-1 Industrial and Aquifer Conservation Districts and Wetland Protection Area. Tax map is 3C, lots 191-2U2-191-2U4. Case number is PB 2024-10. If you would, gentlemen, just say for the record, make sure your green lights are on and state your name for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Gordon Leedy, and I am a landscape architect and certified planner with High and Bond.
And I'm Mark Vorostic. I'm a PE with Vanessa Hank in Brooklyn.
Gentlemen, just to make sure I've got your name spelled correctly for the minutes, Leedy, L-E-E-D-Y,
Perfect.
and you just,
Vorostic, mine's a little trickier. V as in Victor, E-R-O-S-O-S-T-I-C-K.
O-S-T-I-C-K, and that's that Mark with a C or a K?
Mark with a K.
Thank you.
So we are here to consult with the commission on the final phase of development at Merrimack Park Place, which is the land on the corner down below the outlets at the corner of Industrial Drive and Continental Boulevard. Just to orient you, I have a couple of drawings that I would like to share with you. We were at the planning board last week as well, and we've received some comments along with comments from the commission, which I suspect are fairly standard for this sort of thing. This is the plan that was the subject of an amended conditional use permit. And as you may be aware, there was an approved site plan, which this is a copy of, that had the 224 apartment buildings or apartment units. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can never get this stuff to work. Anyway, so there's a 224 unit apartment building which has been constructed. The clubhouse and management offices, 7,000 square feet, pool, and the parking. So all of that has been constructed. There's a 110-room hotel that was approved as a part of the previous site plan. That now is a 100-room hotel, but this portion of the site outlined in red is the subject of this amended site plan application. So we're proposing 178 units of apartments and 5,000 square feet of commercial space in this kind of U-shaped building or G-shaped building, I guess. And then this other building is a mixed-use building. It has about 8,000 square feet of restaurants. In 2 spaces, it has a small commercial space, and on the second floor, we're anticipating a co-working space that would be 10,000 square feet. So, as you're probably aware, this was the subject of lengthy discussion over the years. I mean, I've been working on this project for almost 20 years now. So, and it started with discussions about what was going to happen down on this site when the Premium Outlets was constructed, morphed into what you see today. So we're trying to get this finished up. It is in the Aquifer Protection District. It is in the Wellhead Protection District. The stormwater system, treatment system was approved. I mean, we're going to need to get an alteration of terrain permit amendment approved But it was all designed contemplating this development in essentially the form that it is. So we're actually, from previous iterations, we're actually modestly decreasing the amount of impervious surface, and we're well aware of the restrictions that this commission likes to impose on developments within the Aquifer Protection District and so forth. Particularly, we understand that we need to use no phosphate and slow release nitrogen fertilizer. We need to obviously not specify any invasive plant materials. As a landscape architect, I'm very aware of that. And some things that are not on the invasive list that are currently under threat, like hemlocks. We're not planting hemlocks anymore because of the woolly adelgid problem. We're not planting ash trees anymore because of the emerald ash borer, unfortunately. So we are careful to use mostly native plants. Not everything is native, but we like to lean in that direction. And then we also are aware that there's a limitation on use of salt as a de-icing compound. And that's consistent with the rest of the development as you go up the hill. So this is a blow-up of that. We are proposing to plant evergreens, depending on what the fire department has to say and what the neighbors have to say. This might change a bit in terms of the screening in back, but basically we're using balsam firs and eastern red cedar and white fir in that area. And then the rest of this is a mixture of autumn blaze maple, which are the it's a hybrid between silver maple and red maple that performs better than either of the species, as well as a number of different oaks and I think that is it. So I guess we're here to receive your comments and answer any questions that you might have about it.
Do you remember, I saw it in the packet, what was the reduction in impervious?
The reduction in impervious is approximately 3/4 of an acre from what was approved in the original kind of full build scenario.
Mhm.
And the surface filtration stormwater basin has been designed and constructed for that larger impervious load. Yeah.
Is some of that stormwater basin already installed on that side?
Oh, it all is, yeah.
Yeah, I thought all that stuff was.
There's like a gravel wetland up by
Right.
the property line up in this location.
Yep.
And then this large infiltration basin or filtration basin is installed.
So where are you gonna have to apply for an AOT?
Because we're changing pipe locations, I mean, and we're also adding this area of development.
It's a change from if you looked at the site plan from what was approved,
That was a long time ago.
it was a long time ago, and the configuration of the buildings and the parking has changed, so that warrants an amendment to the
Okay.
alteration of terrain permit. But the stormwater design in and of itself, other than, some changing of pipe conveyance.
There is
Stays.
another item that I didn't talk about, but there's an existing, so part of this development program is to install this roundabout. And several years ago, under the previous site plan, we applied for and were granted a minor wetland permit for this area. There's a part of it is a wooded wetland, and then part of it is, I think it was like an old stormwater
It's a
basin.
stormwater basin.
And we are I don't know what the impact is, but it's a minor permit.
It was 1,600 square feet of, we had been before the Conservation Commission, I think it was back in 2018, for that 1,600 square foot wetland fill associated with the roundabout, which we have a current wetlands permit for with DES.
So you're not gonna be coming before us again for that? That's already there?
No.
Good. Correct.
But just in the interest of
Yeah,
transparency.
No, I
and full
appreciate it,
disclosure.
because it's just, there was a long time ago we looked at these. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so.
Seems like a lifetime ago, actually.
Anyone else have?
So watching the planning board meeting the other night, there's a lot of open-ended questions. Berm, number of stories, fire department, access, those
Yep.
things that have to be sorted. If the solution for any of those problems drive changes, is there, do you come back to the Conservation Commission?
We could, although I don't frankly see a scenario where it's gonna drive significant changes. I mean, I'm gonna go out and take a look and see what we can do with regard to a berm, but, you know, if the neighbors want to keep all of the existing vegetation, then a berm isn't possible. So, you know, so part of it is a discussion with the neighbors and a discussion with the planning board as to what is reasonable and practicable to provide the best outcome. But I don't see it changing the site configuration. I mean, this is all kind of,
And you think you'd be able
Addressing.
to address the fire department's concerns
I do.
without?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, we may have to move some landscaping around.
Yeah.
We may have to provide some fire lanes, if you will, particularly, I mean, the only place where there is no access to the building face is on the interior of this courtyard. So we could do a hardened grass edge that would be available for, you know, for fire department use in the wintertime, and would be available for fire access during good weather as well.
Sure.
But that isn't gonna change the amount of impervious necessarily, so, and it's not gonna really, in the grand scheme of things, it's really a minor change.
That would be my only concern is, you know, if plans change, whether we get to see them or not again, but.
Do you have another date to go back?
Right now, we're scheduled to go back on the 4th of June. We have some coordination that we need to do with Merrimack Village District. We have coordination that we need to do with town departments. It's currently unclear whether we're gonna have everything resolved by that date. If we don't, we'll schedule another meeting. But, you have my assurance that if anything significant changes, you know, we'll be back here.
And I believe also that, as, you know, if we make revised plans, the application to the planning board requires, you know, updated sets of plans that get distributed to the department, so you'd see any changes that would come from those revised plans.
We had the first round of this, we had an issue with snow storage, and a lot of it was trucked off-site. Are we still doing that?
Yes, I mean, the snow storage that is available on site will be used, and to the extent that, that capacity is exhausted, it would be trucked off-site. And, I believe it was a requirement in the original approval to,
The Green Snow Pro,
green snow, yes.
particularly if it's being trucked off-site, because now it's, whatever you've put, what are de-icing compounds in that now is somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Good news is, you know, climate change. So, I mean, I don't know whether we're ever gonna get the snow that we used to get, but I guess law of averages would say yes, so.
Anyone else?
I don't have any.
Any additional questions? Okay, well, I will email the planning board, let them know that you came and presented. I'll probably highlight that if there are substantial changes that we'd like to review them again.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, the next item under new business is Strategic Acquisitions and Real Estate Holdings LLC. Request for approval of an application for waiver of full site plan review regarding a change to the use of the contractor's yard. The parcel is located at 658 Daniel Webster Highway in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation Districts and Wellhead Protection Area. The tax map is 6E-2, Lot 13. Case is Planning Board 2024-07. Good evening. If you would, your light should still be on. Just say your name
Yeah.
for the record.
So I'm Noah Green from Meridian Land Services.
And I'm Brian Labrie from Strategic Acquisitions.
And then, do you guys have a PDF copy of this by any chance? I brought some.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, we're here because we're required to get a change of use site plan for this site that used to exist as an oil distribution center, and it's to be changed to a portable toilet storage area. And the site as it exists is going to essentially be staying the same, and it's just gonna be restriping it for parking.
Is your, will you push that button, see if it gets brighter?
Oh, yep,
Yeah,
sorry about
that's
that.
better. Thanks.
Yeah, but essentially the site's gonna stay as it exists, and it's gonna be restriped, so it'll have ADA parking and some new parking spaces there, but there's not gonna be any additional impervious. And we're here to get comments from you.
And you gentlemen have been to the planning board, or
We have not.
you have not? Do you have a date when you go?
June 4th.
Storage.
Snow storage?
No, the storage just in general, so you're gonna have portable toilets, the fluids and all that?
No.
So yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So there's no waste storage, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, so they're all pumped before they go there?
Correct,
They're
yes.
They're sitting there empty?
Per DES, yeah.
Okay, so, and the fill media that you put in there, the liquids that you put in there for filling
Yep,
them up?
deodorizer and water,
Okay.
yeah,
And
on site.
that's done on site or is
That's
that
done on site only.
Okay. And is it stored here at all?
There's no waste storage.
Not waste, but I mean, is
Yeah.
the chemical that you use to
Yeah,
break?
the boxes of tabs are stored in our garage, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all in a hard product? It's not, it's,
Interesting, it used to be like a hockey puck
Yeah.
looking, and now it's like a very small bag that dissolves, if you will, when the deodorizer.
we don't
hits-
need berms for spill containment?
No.
All right, so
No.
it's all,
It's not liquid, that's what
okay,
you're asking,
yeah,
yeah.
it's all
yeah.
powder material, hard
Correct,
material?
yep.
So, I mean, obviously you guys, the oil was there before, we had more concerns about what was there.
Yeah.
So you move into this, I mean, items like snow storage, I mean, what's gonna change on the site as far as logistics?
Not really anything. We got rid of the oil tanks,
Yeah,
and the units, the portable toilets will now stage where those were. So pretty much from I don't know if you can see if there's a line that denotes it, but from the fourth bay back is where the storage would be of the units.
okay.
And I would say 8 months out of the year, like if you drove by today, you'd see very few units in the yard. And only in the winter does that storage actually get somewhat to capacity.
So quite literally, the only thing changing is what's being stored there.
Correct.
It's got a better name too.
Not a day goes by where I don't hear that.
This would seem very simple. Anyone else?
Yeah, that seems pretty straightforward.
I'll make sure I get a letter to the planning board before June 4th. I'll
Okay.
get it this week. I'll send it to him. And, thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
All right, very good,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item we had under new business is CA Property Acquisitions LLC. Is the petitioner, and BTC Realty LLC is the owner. It's a special exemption under section 2.02.3 C1F of the zoning ordinance to permit an animal hospital, animal daycare, and grooming service under the C2 General Commercial District. The parcel is located at 106 Herrick Street in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation Districts. Tax map is 3D-2, Lot 21, and this is case ZBA 2024-07.
Good evening.
You seem to drill your lights on, I think. If
It
you would
is.
just start by saying your name.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Joe Pesnola from Hancock Associates, representing CA Property Acquisitions and the Merrimack Veterinary Hospital. This is a relocation of the veterinary hospital. They're currently at 235 Daniel Webster, and they're kind of outgrown and need to modernize their facility. So they will be vacating that site and building a new facility, hopefully, at 106 Herrick, which is on the corner of Daniel Webster Highway and Herrick. Access will be from Herrick Street. It's proposed 8,400 square foot, one-story building with a parking lot for stormwater. We're proposing an infiltration basin with a sediment forebay, standard catch basins to collect the stormwater from the parking lot, routing the roof drainage into the infiltration basin as well. There is a wetland across the street, but there's no impact to the wetland. And there currently is an 18-inch culvert under Herrick Street that comes from this site across the street, eventually makes its way to the Merrimack. So we have fully designed a stormwater system and provided a stormwater report to the planning board. We have not been before the planning board. We have been before the zoning board for the use exception, and we were granted that a couple of weeks ago. We are planning on being before the planning board on the 21st. I have discussed with the client and more importantly with the veterinary hospital because it is a triple net lease, and they'll be the doctors will be in charge of their site. We have discussed your standard conditions and prohibitions on phosphate fertilizers and the use of salt for de-icing, and they are they understand that and will make it part of their maintenance protocol. We have proposed a fairly robust landscape plan. I think all the species that are being proposed are native or near native, no invasives. It's kind of a strange site. It's down in a hole. If you on Daniel Webster, it's a good distance down the hill to the site, and even from Herrick, there's a 6-foot drop down into it. And we're not. First question to my client was, do you want to raise the whole site up so you can see the building from Daniel Webster Highway? And they said, no, that's not necessary. We're more of a destination place. As long as we have a sign out on DW, then they'll be fine. So we're not proposing any major changes to the site except to elevate the infiltration basin above the groundwater. So, happy to answer any questions.
We did, I don't know if everyone got it, I did receive the stormwater report for this, and all the pre and post numbers showed decreases. I don't know if everyone saw it. Who would like to start? Who has questions?
Fine. First of all, thank you for straw. I saw that on the plans, no reference to hay. We like that a lot, so thank you for catching that, so we don't have to. Quick question about the filter socks. Are you using the vegetated, unvegetated filter socks? Are they gonna stay in place? Are they gonna be removed?
We have got that far. I mean, I guess if, is there a preference?
I'm not, wasn't sure how you're going to use them. We just want to make sure that, you know, whatever's in them, it's a very sanitized, mature, biohazard-free filler or compost in there that's clean.
Yep.
If it's going to be vegetated, you know, obviously we want it to be, you know, not, again, invasive species, to make sure there's nothing in this living, it can just be compost.
Yep. Understood.
Since the site will also be used for boarding and I believe daycare, are there outdoor play areas for the dogs, and where on the plan are they?
Clarification, the facility currently has boarding, and they
Okay.
are abandoning that,
Mhm.
so there will only be daycare.
Okay.
So it'll be during the normal daily hours of operation.
Okay.
They will take in dogs, they will take in, or pets, for daycare and for grooming, but the site will be vacated at the end of the day, so it's not a kennel per se.
Okay.
They do have a rear, we will have an area in the rear for, to take the pets out for, to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
And the, solid waste will be picked up and bagged and, dumpstered. And obviously they'll pee in the grass there, but they won't be spending any time out there other than that, trip to relieve themselves.
Okay.
We know, consciously, the hospital, saw that there were residential neighbors to the north, and they didn't want to be a burden, so they decided to stop the boarding practice, because that can be a noise problem.
I think it said on one of these plans, Green Snow Pro certified snow
Yeah,
removal.
yeah, they have done it.
Where the de-icer is.
Oh. Anyone else have?
This is,
Really straightforward. Well, I'll, like the others, I'll make sure I send an email to the planning board. You said May 22nd of this month you're going back to them?
May 21st
May 21st.
of this month.
do you happen to know the size of the existing building? That they're vacating?
I don't. I think it's around 6,000 square feet, because we were gonna do a one-for-one replacement. They didn't need to get bigger, but then after we did the design, they said, well, since we're doing it, why don't we make it 2,000 square feet larger?
Is that counting the basement too? Using that?
I don't know, yeah. We didn't do anything on the original sites.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, continuing on, the last item.
I think this is the guy I saw walking out.
Oh, was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't, no. I don't know who that was.
Which one are you looking at?
The Xylas space, the
Mhm.
storage.
That was simple, but there was someone that was here and left. I don't know if they were in the wrong meeting.
I saw someone walking out with an easel and I was running in, so I was like.
Oh, so that
"Wow,
was
I'm
him,
really
yeah.
late."
Yeah, that was.
So that was
Alright.
John Rookie,
Okay.
526 DW.
All right, the last item we have under new business is the 2024 NHACC photo contest. Ellen, you want to talk to us about that?
I'm letting the commission know, and please pass it on to your subcommittees and any members of the public. The New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions is having its annual contest, photo contest, which has 3 divisions: kids, teens, and adults. And they are looking for photographs that inspire the preservation of our natural environment. And they're while you can take it of your backyard if you want, they're especially interested in getting some good images of our conservation lands. So anyone who wishes to enter, go to nhacc.org, and there are cash prizes in each category. And the winning photos are going to be displayed at the NHACC conference, which takes place every November. So let's get some pictures in there, guys. We'd love to see images that we haven't seen before that, frankly, we can use to promote.
Is there a
the
deadline?
The deadline is, I think, September. Hold on a sec. Forgive me, I don't have the date right here, but I believe it is in September.
Are we gonna post this on the website?
Oh, we can. We can, because, yes, entry form is now open and will close September 20th. So, yeah, I can write that up and send it to ComDev and ask them to put it on the site.
Because it would be a good way just to at least get more pictures for the website.
Yes, I gotta tell you that the only two they had from our last year were pictures I took that weren't very good, so anybody with a camera and a good eye can really help us by getting some good pictures. Thank you.
Did anyone happen to take any quality pictures of the seedling giveaway?
Never.
All I got at the seedling giveaway was a picture of buckets trying to get people to come down and empty them for us, so that's
Yeah.
it.
Every year, we say that.
Every year.
Every year, we gotta get pictures, yeah.
I actually got a text on the morning of the seedling giveaway reminding me to take pictures this year.
No.
Text wasn't enough.
Yeah, we're really good at that.
See, okay, we'll move on to other business. Discussion and vote regarding trail markers and no motorized vehicle sign purchase and delivery. Tom, you want to tell us where we're at with that? I think where we left off, we were going to start by hopefully putting together an inventory tonight of what we have in stock currently. And from there, we can determine what we need, if anything, and what we want to purchase. I did reach out to American Flagging for, that's who the town orders signs from, about that, the no motorized.
Uh-huh,
I have not gotten a quote back from that yet.
okay. I didn't realize the town had a,
The town does that, the dog residue removal sign,
Okay.
that we talked about last meeting, that's,
Okay.
those come from the town's vendor.
and they can do motorized vehicle signs? Oh, you haven't found that yet?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right, this, I'm trying to make this as simple as I can, but I'm not succeeding. I have two separate quotes, and they're not exactly, it's not apples to apples. Let me talk about, there's one quote from a company called Both Signs. They have given me a quantity price breakdown on yellow plastic, I believe those are gonna be rectangles. And then the blue plastic triangle and the red circle. And you can see that that she's given me prices on the two quantities, 200, up to 200, and then up to 250. I'm sorry, over 200 and over 250 for each one. And on this sheet, you have it. I tried to break down, because all she did is took all the numbers and totaled it, and that's not really an indication of what the cost is. So I totaled it out so that if we buy the 200 quantity, it would be for the rectangles, the triangles, and the circles, it would be $628. And then if we go to the second option, which is 250 or more, it actually comes out to $577, so we get more for less. What may be unacceptable, and I don't know, is their signs or their markers are not as meaty as the ones we have out there now. I asked her if she could give me something a little bit thicker, and she did, but I still think it's not gonna be quite as thick as what we have now. So that's both signs. I didn't get anything from them on no motorized vehicle signs, because I do have a catalog of theirs, and there was nothing in the catalog that looked like it was gonna be what we need. So all I quoted them on is the two quantity priced breakdowns. And then I did I did a quote also with Classic Signs. And they only have they only have quoted me on on a quantity of 400. 200 would be the red circle, and 200 would be the blue triangle. So I don't have the rectangles from them. And their price for 400, again, 200 of each, is the $12.60. But what they're quoting me on, I had this last week, and I'll show you again. What they're quoting it on is material that looks like this. It's not the same color, but it's like real rigid, hard material, and they said that they would also drill the holes in them. I asked him, I said, well, I wasn't sure that this was what would be acceptable to everybody. So I said, well, what, can you give me a quote on the plastic, the ones that you did before? And he said, the cost is really more in the setup than it is in the material. He said it might be a little bit cheaper, but it wouldn't be that much cheaper. That's as specific as I could get him to say. So that's what we have for classic signs on the trail markers. I also, I included in I think I have a picture of, okay, this would be their motorized vehicle sign. Obviously, this one obviously was designed for Sklar, so it would have to be changed in two ways. Instead of no motorized wheeled vehicles, no motorized vehicles. And then, I don't know if we even need this, but I thought it was kind of a little cool that they had the town's little emblem there. So those signs from Classic Signs would be a total of, for 36 of them, $27.75.60. And the bottom line quote there is $4,035.60. And I'm wondering if we should split the order, because both signs, it's a huge difference in money. So again, I'll do whatever everybody thinks is appropriate, but I'm thinking order the no motorized vehicle signs from Classic Signs, and order the other ones from both signs, and I don't know if that's how we wanna do it, or if we wanna wait
So,
again on this.
I looked at your quote, or the quote that Voss gave us,
Yeah,
and they're using 070 plastic,
yeah,
which is barely a 1/16 of an inch.
okay.
And that's half the thickness of the
Okay,
ones we have already.
okay.
You haven't actually spec'd out the ones we have.
This is what they sent me, and it is fairly flimsy. It's not, I mean, I've looked at signs in other, like, I've hiked in places where they have signs like this, and there are a lot of these out there. But the ones that we have are much thicker, much sturdier. This is what we have. These are, I mean, you can, I don't know what the
Is it
thickness of
possible
this
to
is.
pass that green one down,
Pass them both.
so I can
Sure.
compare it?
So, well, I understand what you're saying. These don't, I mean, other than being tacked to a tree, they don't really have that much touch. Because if you look at all our border signs, they're thinner than that green one.
Yeah, I was wondering
They're just,
if
they're
they
just-
needed to be thick
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
That's true.
you know,
Yeah, so this is the thickness we use already.
that's the
Right.
thickest we
And
have.
this
That's-
is half that thickness.
So
Yeah.
well, I wanna throw another wrench, don't
Okay, go ahead.
don't lose your train of thought. But I
Okay.
wanna throw another wrench in it, because while I have not given you, Andrew, I've not gotten to you the list of equipment, the stuff I have got a lot.
I have a bunch also.
I have a
red
lot,
and
I have a
blue.
lot of these red and blue and green and yellow signs on all boxes that are mouse chewed and disgusting, so it's taking me a little time to go through there because it's kind of gross. I've got probably 15 or 20 of these still.
I may have one of those, and
So,
I've maybe got 50 of each of the trail
Yeah, so
markers.
we have, I know no one likes these because when the tree grows, they snap.
That's a matter of not nailing them in.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, I mean, you know, 2-3 years later, they're still gonna snap at some point in time, but,
Eventually, you're gonna break.
yeah, we have a lot of them. So
We do have a lot of
I think we've got a lot of them, so
Okay,
while I don't wanna belittle what you've done, you may not need to do this right now.
okay, that's fine
So-
with me, that's fine with
I know
me.
that you're going on vacation soon?
I just came back from
Oh,
vacation.
okay.
Well, this is why we ask that people check.
Yeah, I know, it's just
inventory.
saying, I
Okay.
just haven't been able to go through and count it all, there's a lot.
This all came about, Mike Bovier, who's now on the Greater Woods Subcommittee, came to me and said, we need some more markers. Can you, like, find out what we can get? So that's where this all, like, came from.
Well, I appreciate you looking up the quotes for us, because I had no idea what the materials were gonna cost. And then the next step was
Mhm.
checking inventory, and
Yeah.
that is an eye-opener too.
When I got the quote from Classic Signs, I thought, you gotta be kidding me, that's a lot, $4,000?
Yeah.
I also wonder, do we need 36 no motorized vehicle signs?
Again, that was the suggestion I got.
Okay.
We don't-
I mean, it's for all the properties. You get
Right,
3 or 4,
but-
at all the openings, all the kiosk locations. You're not gonna have a lot of.
Because I
left over.
noticed that Sklar has like 4 of them, and they're all within arm's reach of each other. So they could probably be
Well, that's
distributed.
probably because we had more of a problem at Sklar than we've had anywhere else.
Okay.
People-
Related to inventory, could maybe everyone send me a list of anything they have Conservation Commission?
I was just,
I'll create a list of where everything is and.
I was just gonna say, maybe with, at least with the trail markers, we could consolidate, because I got a box of, stuff that I got from George Theodoros, that's got a ton of orange and white, they're just squares. So,
Well, another
apparently these things
option
are all over the place.
Another
Yeah, 'cause
option
I
is
gave you the-
everyone could drop everything off
Good
at
man.
my house, I'll take an inventory, and then we'll make sure it all ends up in one location. And then everyone can know the location and if they need.
You don't know
if
what you
we
just
need-
asked for.
But you better get rid of the mice before you bring yours
Yeah,
over to
exactly.
us.
I have to clean all the punch poop off it.
That's fine, spray it down. I don't know, I think it's important for us to know what we have.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I started going through the shed and it's like, wow, there's a lot more here than I thought.
Might be a better idea to
I could've
consolidate.
loaded stuff, I could've loaded your
Yeah.
truck up today.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And now that you
We also have duck boxes all over the place too. in
We have
different
duck
places.
boxes. I had to move 4 of them to get my,
And
weed
in terms of
whacker
the
out.
thickness, I do remember that the state property line, the boundary markers, they are that very thin
Yep.
070 material,
Yeah.
and they do seem to hold up pretty well.
I mean, they're gonna get broken eventually, even the metal ones, they're gonna get pushed out. You know, they won't get eaten by animals, but they eventually will get pushed out. The tree's just gonna keep pushing and pushing until it breaks.
Now, if we can find some 6-inch aluminum nails, that'll give them
6-inch
more time.
nails, yeah.
so what's the consensus? Do we want to try to consolidate, or do we want to email?
I mean, if
our
anyone's
inventories?
got an immediate need for anything, let me know, and I'm
Okay.
sure. The only thing I think I may not have a ton of is the blue ones, but it's, but I've got at least 100 of them, so.
Okay.
So how about I
That-
do this?
That should take care of us. If you got that many,
Yeah, I've
that
got-
should take
yeah.
care of us for a while.
How about I'll send an email out to the group tomorrow, to all of us, and I'll ask for your inventory, your signed inventory, and then just reply only to me. You don't have to reply to the whole
Yeah,
group.
okay.
Just reply to me, and I'll try to put together a sheet. And if I don't hear
Yeah.
back from Thursday, I'll send another email.
The other thing I was like, if we did go through with buying signs or trail markers, I don't know the process of getting things paid for. I don't wanna put $4,000 on my credit card.
No.
No.
We can figure that part
Yeah,
out.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, we just need to figure out what we have, I guess, before we can.
okay.
Yeah,
So
but
are we gonna, like, not do anything about the vehicles either?
Well, I don't have the quote from.
Oh, that's right, you wait, okay.
Yeah, American Flagging, and I think they're generally less expensive.
Yeah,
I think we should defer any expenditure proposal until we get that inventory nailed down.
Mhm.
Check your,
Okay, yeah.
check your garages, people.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, anything else on that?
I'm good.
All right, let's move on. Sign ideas for Scholar waterfront Park. And where we left off on this, we talked about this just briefly last meeting. I did get some feedback from the town. They said, you know, in terms of the location, because we had talked previously about the pump station there just before the entrance. And they said that location could be in play for a sign. What the town would like is if that's what we're requesting to use, that we go out and stake it specifically and provide Public Works with kind of a drawing, which hopefully I think we'll get to tonight, of what we're proposing. And they could work with the town manager and get that approved if it's all, you know, assuming it all checks out. They did suggest a wooden sign might be appropriate.
If I can comment on that, I took a drive into Sklar this afternoon in honor of this, and because there's a huge slope to the land right by the entrance, a traditional two-post sign would not work very well. However, there is a gigantic tree right there about 4 or 5 feet from the entrance from the road that we could hang a nice tasteful wooden sign on. I'm pretty sure it's on town property for the pumping station, and it's easily visible from the road as you go in.
Well, let's hear what Danielle has in mind.
So I had come up with some sketches. I did 4x4x8 designs with some 2x6x8s, and I was able to make it pretty cheap to make. But I came into the problem with the sign with the location, so I couldn't get an actual sketch presented for tonight, but I can get one to you by end of week. It would be all wood, treated, weatherized. I am working with a family that has a laser engraver, so I would be super interested if we can get like engraving on the sign, which would preserve it longer, in my opinion, rather than just painting. And for the location, I was thinking, so like you said, the slope and the location of the pump house was a little, so it's hard to see when you take that left and everybody gets so confused. So we were thinking like maybe doing a proposal at the end of Greeley, so when you pull onto Greeley Street, you can see the sign where that dumpster is. Not where the dumpster is, I guess, adjacent to the dumpster on the other side of the road.
Whose property is that?
It's undeclared online, so I have no idea whose it would be. I'm not sure if the railroad owns it.
That might,
A stake?
that's a possibility, and that might be better, because where that tree is, it's good if you're coming the other way from the end of Greeley Road, but not when you've come down from, you know, from DW Highway. You'd have to crane your neck 180 degrees to see it.
Is it, how, that location you were talking, how close is that to the rail yard? It's not owned by CSX, is it?
So again, we looked into the tax map and it said, no, I'm not really good at that, but not really sure, but I have no idea if it is owned by the railroad or I have no clue. But if we were able, I'm not sure if the pump house property extends into that area, but if it does, I think that would be a great proposal for the sign. And then doing another sign with an arrow that somehow points down.
Yeah, I think I know where you're talking about, and you can actually see the railroad tracks from the road right there.
Straight, yeah.
Which means it's probably railroad right-of-way. And they've been historically not very happy with us doing anything with their property.
You probably have a better chance of planting a sign on the State House lawn.
Now, with what might help with that large tree is if we could clear a little of the brush that's in front of it, we could point the sign more in the direction of where you come up from Greeley Road.
Yeah. And then another issue I guess I kind of came into is having arrows leading into the direction of the parking, because everybody does get so confused. It's like, where are we going under this creepy bridge? Where is this park? And then the parking situation, everybody parks down at the river end, which obviously we're not allowed to do. So we're gonna have to do parking signs for the top part, and I don't know if we should do signs of no parking down by the end of the road where the boat ramp is.
And I have been told that if we put no parking signs up there, they're just gonna tear them down.
And also that first parking lot desperately needs to be regraded and resurfaced.
Yeah.
Can we put a request in for that? like,
For the
Forward.
reground,
sorry?
the reground pavement,
Mhm.
there's a long list. But
There's a
yes, we
long
can,
list.
it's a long list. We've put all of our parcels on it before. and it's-
Okay.
Yeah,
Can we just keep doing
Every,
that?
yeah,
until-
every-
let's
everybody
add this
wants
one.
it. It's like a
Yeah.
little, it's like
Well,
gold.
I
but-
think last year,
Yeah.
Wasserman
Yeah. Washington does.
benefited from
Yeah.
everything that came off
Wildcat
of
Falls
Van
got it a
Woosik.
couple of years ago.
yeah, we're in a default budget this year, and so one of the things we cut is grinding up the asphalt pile. So there won't be any ground asphalt for a little while.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, look at all, that was Horseville, was all.
I mean,
reground,
can they
so-
just flatten it, like drag all the,
No.
what's there?
Well, without they've done that, they've graded it.
Well, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the
okay.
last
yeah.
couple
That's
of
all,
months.
that's
Oh,
all I
okay,
think
all right.
we're
Let's not,
asking.
I don't wanna get too far off of the sign here. So, the next step with the sign, you're gonna draw this?
Yep, so I have everything planned out. I was just waiting on the family that has a laser engraver to, the capabilities, I guess
Yeah.
there's size. So I don't know how big we're able to do it, and even if we need to go down that road. But I was just waiting on the placement of the signs, because it's gonna be
Mhm.
different size if we hang it on the tree or if we put it on the slope. I
Yeah, you
have no
wouldn't
idea.
want a 4 by 8 foot sign hanging on a
Exactly,
tree.
right.
When you get a chance, go down and take a look at that tree. It's clearly at least a 24 or 30-inch diameter tree.
It's a big
And
one.
it's within like 6 feet of where you make that sharp turn.
So, just so you know, we've gotten heat for attaching things to trees in the past.
It looks kinda tacky, doesn't it?
Well, no, it's not, I mean, you do it in your house, you wouldn't think anything twice, but, you know,
Mhm.
we've taken some heat for that in the past, so we
Okay.
put up posts and, but I'm willing to try it again, I just was.
Who gives us flack about the trees?
Oh, no,
Can-
we've gotten comments and
From
complaints
like
about-
citizens?
Yeah, about nailing signs in the trees,
What's their concern?
Maybe we could sink a
we're-
post right in front of the tree.
damaging the trees.
Well,
We're the Conservation Commission, we
I'm
shouldn't do
happy
that.
to educate on that.
I'm
matter.
I didn't complain, I'm just
It's a
telling you.
maple, we should plant
I'm-
You know,
maple
the tap?
syrup tap
Yeah,
in it.
So,
You know-
back to the sign.
So, do we pay to grind the concrete, the asphalt, or do we have the ability to do it ourselves?
We pay to do it. So that's a line item in the budget.
So we have a company come in and grind for us?
Yeah.
I mean, how's that work?
I'm assuming, yeah, it's a line item in the budget that we contract to have that done. And this year, we're not having it done.
Can you
So the
speak,
pile will be twice as big next year.
can you speak to what the cost is?
It's public. I
I just was
was trying to
curious.
recall off the top of my head, but I think it was something like 70 grand that they cut out of the budget to do that. Again, you're asking me to recall numbers off the top
No,
of
I'm
my
just
head.
kidding, I'm just, yeah.
If you go back to the
Yep.
last council meeting of last week, Paul will be going through and he'll talk about all the things that we're cutting out of the budget to meet the default budget.
Okay,
One of them is the asphalt grinding of that asphalt pile.
okay.
And he'll say the exact amount, I just don't.
Yeah, I was
recall
just,
off the
I'm
top
just
of my
kinda
head.
curious, I mean, it's,
I think with the Wasserman lot, it was the way, was it Van Woosik Road? The way it was
They were coming
The
right
way it
off
was
of there,
bid.
yeah, as part of the paving
part
of
of
that
the bid
road.
that they had to.
Yeah.
I mean, part of our budget, or our, you know, charter is management of these parcels. If we feel that it's important to repay some of these parcels, we could, you know,
Fund
again,
53.
70, if it's 70K, whatever it is.
Right.
Maybe we could hire the company to come in and grind it.
Steve, I don't want Danielle to have to do something that she doesn't need to do, but I would love to see a design, if we could, for
Yep.
the sake of just seeing what's going on. Imagine there's a sign at the pump station. Can you come up with some kind of visual that would be for that? Not to commit us to spending anything, but so that I can see it. I'm excited about the prospect.
I drafted up, I can actually attach my email and get
Can you,
Okay.
can you throw two stakes in the ground down there where you want the post to go?
And yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I have no
Let me-
graphic skill whatsoever, so I have the utmost
So
respect.
Let me know when the stakes are there, please, and, 'cause the Public Works is eager to go down and look at it. They just wanted to see where specifically where we would like it. And then we can maybe put this on the agenda for the next meeting and revisit it if we have a,
Yeah, absolutely. I have
The-
cost for
The
that.
DPW made us a couple signs in the past. They're
I saw 'em.
the ones, Greater Woods ones that are behind the house.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're just sitting there. So, I mean, that's their
Is that
design.
where they came from?
Yeah, I think DPW made those.
Do you know where those are?
Do you know where the upper lot is in the middle school? Going into Greater Woods, to go up to the ball fields? There, when you drive up the upper lot, there's that last
Oh,
gate that
yeah.
goes up the hill.
They're
There's a
leaning right.
There's a little house right there, just on the side of it. There's two sets of signs just sitting there. They're supposed to be posted for they're Greater Woods signs, but that's the basic design that we were getting from the town. I believe the DPW made those for us.
They're good looking.
Yeah.
Which comes back into, we don't know what kind of restrictions there'll be on the budget, but I don't want to throw anything else
Yeah.
into the mix. I'd
Mhm.
just love to see whatever design you've got. If you can share that with us, that would be great.
Absolutely can. I can get that email to you
Okay.
by end of week, absolutely.
And- Yeah, and if, as soon as the stakes are, let me know and I'll try to get them out there to look at that.
Sounds good.
Anything else about the Sklar signs? Next item is the NRPC mapping update. Did everyone get this in their packet?
I'm missing some things. I'm gonna grab one of those packets over there that seems to be more complete.
So, Karis, you got some feedback, right, about the,
Yeah, an updated map, and it has more trail than this one.
so Karis shared that with me. I have that, but it didn't get in the packets. I can pass it around, though. Of course, if I pass this around, I need to make sure I leave a copy of it for community development.
Yep, you do.
So I think the difference is on that one is the green trail.
Green trail?
No, this is much more,
Isn't that the color?
Yeah, it is green.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this is much more loop based, which is good. That's kind of what we wanted normally.
See, I think that green trail though is not,
This one.
it's not on the Sklar property. It's
This,
on the
this,
parcel
this
leased
one?
to
Yeah.
the, yeah, that one.
Yeah, I'm skeptical whether that's,
I don't want that on the map.
This one, this one. It's not on this map. This is an updated one.
I'm not sure how far
I'm not,
over.
I'm not sure that this is on the Scholar.
I don't,
Yeah, this is.
Really?
Sure
mhm.
that's not town property?
Karis, did you have
Um,
a
I
no,
thought,
copy
I'm
of?
not.
I thought that was getting up into,
I brought one. I wish I'd brought more.
longer.
That I believe is true. Maybe that as well.
So
I
while
thought-
while that is circulating,
I thought,
I know
this
one of the
side
items on
of
that
the boat
map, it
ramp was
refers to it as the
Sklar,
bittersweet
this side
trail,
was
Yeah, it's pretty close, I think.
which we can certainly talk about again. It's on the agenda. We can
I
have
think
another
that
discussion.
Last
Yeah.
summer, you guys did determine to change it to the Heron Trail.
Yeah, last May 22nd, we talked about this at one of our meetings, and the consensus was that we didn't want to name a
and
trail
maybe some of
after
this up
An
here.
invasive species.
an invasive
You're
species.
saying right about being on town property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bittersweet trail. We
So-
didn't, yeah, that's
Yeah,
not-
we didn't
yeah.
like
Private
that.
land. Oh, okay.
And I went back and looked at the meeting minutes. There was a consensus and agreement that we would call it the Heron Trail.
I'd like to look at that on an overview of our property lines.
Mhm. I think Eric may be able to do that right now.
got GIS on my phone.
Yeah. Well, because from the boat ramp, once you go, you know,
North.
north on the boat ramp, you're into town property pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And that,
Which we haven't included
yeah, I mean, it's very,
trails off our properties.
yeah, it's very easy. We could go to town and ask them if they, you know, if that's something they want to support or want us to support. Not worried about that, but.
Mhm. And this is a big project. We certainly want to get this one done right. But this parcel right here and these 4 trails or 5 trails are really what is, this is ground, this whole NRPC mapping update. And this is part of the bigger project that will include all the new Chapter 111 bylaws, which really were approved like a year ago. This has become the choke point.
Steve,
Mhm.
I also got an email this afternoon from Mark Gagnon of the Horse Hill Subcommittee, and someone from NRPC is going to be out doing a walk with him to make sure that North Side Trail is mapped, but we have not seen, nobody on the subcommittee has seen that done yet. But that is going to be done. I believe he said the date would be, it would be before the next subcommittee meeting, which is June 4th.
Okay.
So that's pending.
So we could wrap this up, if someone could take ownership of this map, these trails, go out and walk it. Someone here, probably.
Did we get the GPX file for this, by chance?
He has it, he could send it.
Yeah, because we could lay that on
just
top
lay
of
it-
the borders and
Mhm.
see exactly what's what.
I think that's what he's ready to do. He's just ready to get a green light on this. He knows about the Horse Hill Trail.
Where'd that come from?
They went out and walked it.
That's the NRPC?
Yeah.
Not this is,
No, I'm sorry. That was the first, no,
one
that
were you
came from
looking for?
us. This came from NRPC.
okay.
Yeah.
So NRPC did not walk that big loop trail up on the side there.
Which trail are
They,
you?
they didn't walk this one.
Oh, this
No,
one?
they did not.
Okay, so, that one, I think it actually is our land.
It's
So-
the land that's leased to the Flying Eagle, so, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be this land right here. Which, I don't know if this has a list of who owns it. Well, it says Town of Merrimack. I don't know how accurate this is, though. But, so, the trail, the green trail here would be right up here. And here's the Flying Eagles. And so it's listed as the same parcel, but also this is also listed as the same parcel. So, I'm not entirely sure. But on the map, the trail is looping up along here and then down along here. So it's all on this side of the river.
But that's exactly what, so if that's accurate, that's the end of our parcel there. That's about what you're saying right there. That means this whole piece is also on town property,
Yeah,
which is up here.
The blue trail?
Yes.
yeah. The GIS,
So I mean, again, it's not really a problem. We just need to go to the town, town council and say, look, this is the trail. We'd like to, we, as COMCOM, we'd like to manage this parcel as part of the,
Put it on
and
our
get
trail
their
map.
approval. And
Let's get their approval before we do something.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll pass this along too.
Thank you.
When's the next town council meeting?
Okay, there's that. So yeah,
Next.
this is new.
Next week.
Next week. Good boy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I saw that because I haven't seen it before. You
So
seeing
I
that
guess
down there?
the last question is everyone, assuming we compare this with the GIS plot, which it came off of anyhow, it was mapped by NRPC. Are we content with this?
I would say no, because I believe that goes up in the town,
It does,
Property.
yeah, it does.
and.
I mean, if we get the
Yeah,
green light to
we need to
that.
get the green light from the town that says,
Everything
yeah,
else,
go ahead.
though, we're happy with
Yeah.
the name Heron Trail, not Bittersweet Trail?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will send an email about including that portion on town land on there.
Is that something
On our
you'd
map.
ask the council, or is this something you're gonna send to NRPC?
I was gonna email Paul and copy
Okay.
Andy on it.
Thank you.
My guess is he'll put it on the agenda and it'll have to go in front of the entire council to decide.
Right, so if the meeting is next week, we gotta get on there with 7 days, right?
Yeah,
So we
I'll
need
send
to.
yeah. If you send Paul a note now, you'll have plenty of time to get
Yeah.
on there.
Seven
Okay.
days?
We should probably ask too, if, other areas, like, you know, like that other map shows going over part of the, Flying Eagles. If there's other parts of that parcel, if we deem it appropriate, can we, you know, build trails on other parts of that town property and manage it through the Sklar Waterfront Park and MCC subcommittees?
Okay, let's see, what's next? The adopt a restoration plot. Karis, you want to tell us about this? This was your idea?
Yeah, so my idea after our invasive removal event at Sklar, just looking at the extent of it, and then, of the invasives in that area, and then, talking to a high schooler who came and helped out, I got the idea of, getting local organizations and businesses involved and having, a program where they could adopt a parcel of highly invasive area of, we'd start at Sklar. It's easy access to the area. And it would be we determine a reasonable size portion, and I would basically train them on how to identify the invasives and how to remove them and when to remove them. And then they would, take that on as that area as their project. And, they could, you know, do a few events like, I don't know, like, let's say a local Dunkin' Donuts wanted to, adopt the area, kind of like adopt a highway where you pick up trash, but instead you're pulling invasives. And I'm trying to talk and get her to sleep at the same time. Yes, that was my thought. And they could, the whole area back there is entirely invasives at Sklar.
And there's a large and expanding section right at the parking lot entrance to Wildcat Falls that's starting to choke the trail out occasionally. On this topic, are there any state guidelines, either through DES or DOT or anything like that, or even through the NHACC about how to deal with invasives? Because sometimes just pulling them out doesn't really do much.
The Department of Agriculture puts out recommendations on each of the different invasive species. They have informational pamphlets about best practices, some of which we cannot enact because they involve, we can't personally enact them because they involve herbicides.
Mhm.
I think UNH Cooperative has a lot of information, and I think generally people from here have reached out to them before. They're pretty. It's pretty easy to get a hold of someone, and they're gracious with their time. They'll answer questions.
Yeah, I've worked with the cooperative before, because kudzu is really starting to take over in several places, and it's tremendously invasive and very hard to deal with.
How would you market this? How would you bring this to the public?
Is there, I'd use Facebook as one avenue, but is there a Merrimack Business Association or?
There's a Chamber of Commerce.
I would probably go through them.
Well, that's Souhegan Chamber of Commerce now, right? I don't
Is
think- I don't think we have
Greater
I don't think we-
Sauhegan, it might be Greater
Merrimack.
Sauhegan Valley.
Yeah, the Merrimack Chamber of Commerce is absorbed into a broader.
I don't suppose anyone would object to more businesses wanting to help out.
Mm-mm. You want to contact them? See
Yep.
Plant the seed? I think
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
And then, speaking of inventory, we would need to somehow subtly identify the parcels.
Mhm.
They're not along a trail, so they're along at least at Sklar, the area we're working on. It wouldn't be so much an eyesore along that road because the road itself, looking down, is a bit of an eyesore, but that's a fun one to drive on. But we'd need to somehow identify the parcels for businesses so that they know where they're
Where they're-
working within. Do we have
We have Eric.
sticks?
We have Eric.
He'll just
So
stand there and point them out.
We were given a pretty, sorry, Justin. We were given a pretty detailed, map, layered map, when we did with the water level management project. And it's got, areas of high priority, wildlife priorities, all, that big map we have,
Oh,
of
yeah.
the whole,
Yeah.
it's basically the whole town. It's this GIS map, if we can create more layers on it,
Oh.
and then, it's our map, we own it. We own the files, we own everything.
Mhm.
So it might be, if we have someone who's really good at that kind of stuff, hint, hint.
I mean, if you can give me the name, I can probably find it right now.
Well, I'm sure you've seen it. You've seen that map
Yeah.
of the town. It's got
The priority map.
that prior. It's got what?
Yeah.
There's like 4 different versions of it. There's water levels. There's
Yeah,
priority map and
this one.
yeah.
So are you suggesting expanding the area and using that as?
I'm just
where
saying,
we-
we've got a really good detailed map of the town. It's got topography. It's got water. It's got everything already listed.
Yeah.
There's no reason that we can't add
Oh,
another
that
layer
map.
to it.
I was
Okay, yeah.
gonna make
Yeah.
I was gonna say to make parcels smaller than that, because they need to be manageable sized.
No, I know, but I'm saying is we could
Oh, okay.
identify areas and
Okay.
use that as a place to at least keep that information.
Okay, got it.
And if we wanted to identify it on site, we could do something similar with what we've done with the Eagle projects.
Yeah.
Simple, a tasteful little plaque or something.
I've forgotten the name of it, but there's a reporting website, invasive reporting website. I
Yeah,
think we talked about it before, but you can just go in, you can just take pictures of what it is and leave your GIS on your phone and you upload the picture and it automatically maps where you are, so. It's pretty.
But that would be good to review the areas of highest priority.
Yeah, right.
And when you said that, I realized I've got the map at home, not with me,
Yeah.
but that doesn't.
Only a
exist.
couple of them are actually on town property. Because I do have the wetland restoration targets on the top 20 properties, and I do have them on my GIS right here. And yeah, I think only a few of the properties were actually on something that we control. I mean, not much of it was on Conservation Commission land, but on town land, there was maybe 5 properties, 5 targets.
Yeah. I don't think we'd get a lot of pushback from the town if we had people trying to remove invasives. They would be supportive of us managing that as a project, I think.
Well, it
Because
seems like,
we've done that before,
Mhm.
so we had certified applicators come in and spray,
Mm.
so. That was on a combination of town and MCC property.
Well, I think we've handled that one. Can we move on from that?
well, just to clarify, so I'll contact the Sohegan Chamber of Commerce about, am I going to actually, set this up? Is that a go-ahead,
I
basically?
think we're all comfortable with it. We love the idea.
I'd love to hear the response you get.
Yeah.
Introduce it, and
Yeah.
just plant the seed, because it's gonna take a little while to get things
Yeah.
off the
That's
ground, but
pretty
if people
funny.
start talking about it,
Plant the seed,
Yeah.
you're fine.
And if we put it on a future agenda, it would just be to follow up with it. I think we're all comfortable with the concept.
Yeah.
And the idea has received the green light. The next item is trail grant opportunities. Karis, you want to do this, or you want me to circle back to you in a few minutes? Oh, that's the last item under old business, actually.
I can do it. I was just wondering, now that the deadline is in a few days.
Yeah,
I'm
June
not-
14th. It looks like, did everyone get
I
this?
thought
in
it
there?
was.
Yeah.
The last meeting is Wednesday.
in Lancaster.
Yeah, you have to do one of them, you have to go to one of the meetings,
You
and I
have to.
cannot.
You can't do the, you can't review the packets, or?
I can't do one of these informationals. In order to apply, you have to go to one of 3 informationals.
Oh, okay.
And the last informational is.
Yeah,
is
upstate.
is Wednesday.
Wednesday, upstate,
Yeah,
Lancaster.
anyone free Wednesday?
The RTP, I know from working with the Rail Trails Coalition, can be a valuable thing. It's something that we might want to look to for next year, because it is a process. But if we have trail projects that we come up with in the course of the year.
One of my trail
That would be
project
good.
ideas was because it would be way too expensive for us to ever do it, is to pave a single trail in town to make it handicap and stroller accessible. We don't want lots of paved trails for multiple reasons, but it would be nice.
It's like the rail trails in the state. Some of them are paved, most are not, but the ones that are accessible, mostly in southern,
Exactly.
southern part of the state.
You need some amount of.
And there's a whole lot more stakeholders for the outdoors because of that.
Yeah.
Some time ago, there was a discussion about some of the trails on Wildcat Falls, which are very, very close to meeting ADA requirements, including the main trail from the parking lot to just shy of the falls itself.
Regarding the RTP, you're right, it's unfortunate this had such a short fuse. But we have this document. It's probably gonna look exactly like this next year. And next year is probably a more realistic target.
Yeah.
At a minimum, I'd be willing to, when the dates come up, look at attending one of the information meetings, and I'm sure anybody from the commission could go and take notes.
Yeah,
Yes, if we can all be on the lookout for when they announce this next
Yeah.
year.
I mean, there's no limit if we, if we had 2 or 3 projects to nominate, we would double or triple our odds of receiving one of these grants. Anyone else? Anything? Any further discussion on that? All right, well, let's move on to our annual meeting. The first item on the annual meeting was the review of the Conservation Commission Rules of Procedure. I appreciate all the work town, community development did on this. It was a pretty good memorandum to explain some of the proposed changes. And then, unfortunately, if you printed it online, you have all the pages. If you printed the packet from the email, you have all the pages, and the corrections are in blue. If your corrections are in red, then you only have half the pages. That's why you looked for Article 9 and couldn't find it.
If you looked for any even page, you couldn't find it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was planted it's
Yeah.
printed double-sided, it goes from.
The backside
one
of
to
it.
three.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how long I searched for Article 9.
Yeah, it's-
So that puts us in a little bit of a disadvantage to do what needs to be done in terms of reviewing this.
Steve, may I
Document.
move, or
Please do.
would you consider a motion to defer this to our next meeting?
Absolutely.
I move that we defer discussion of amending our rules of procedure until our next scheduled meeting, which I believe is June 10th.
Second?
Wait, why is our next meeting so far away?
Because Memorial Day.
Got it.
Do we want to have further discussion about this before we vote on this motion? I would say in particular, 2 items we may want to look at. I guess I asked the question, and I already moved on to having further discussion. I think, in particular, the 2 items we would like, that caught my eye, and there were probably a lot more. I think the agenda. I think we've moved away from having commissioner comments at the end of the agenda. It is hard, we have to police ourselves as a commission if we're gonna have them there, because we can't introduce agenda items that should have been on the agenda, so members of the public who wanted to come and hear this and be in person for it, if it's that kind of item, we need to put it on the agenda. But commissioner comments, I thought, served the value. It would be a nice opportunity at the end of the meeting for, say, for instance, Karis, to thank the people that came out for the invasive species cleanup, or for Gage to give, a quick feedback about the seedling giveaway. So that's when we can review this. What was the other item? Oh, the annual meeting. We've talked about this every year for the last 3 years, since we moved it out of June. It used to be in June. It felt like it made more sense in June, because all of our terms expire in June. It just made sense. That was the time to, there is some language here that says it needs to be within 90 days of the town meeting.
Yeah. I
I'm
saw
not
that.
sure,
Yeah.
does anyone know why that is?
Must be on an even page.
No. So we can't really do this anyhow, so is there any other areas that anyone wants to highlight where when we deep dive into this, so we're prepared to discuss it on June 10th, that you
So-
look at?
So I had one question, and it had to do with our addition of the student representative. And I didn't really get enough clarity in our last meeting about the process for the school nominating the student and what term the student would do. Were we thinking the same June to June?
Yeah, so in addition to what's outlined here in Article 4,
Mm-hmm.
did you get Article 4 or no?
I got
Okay.
Article 4.
In addition to that, if you go further back in the packet, it's probably on one of the pages you didn't get. It actually outlines that too,
Okay.
the selection and appointment.
Oh, yes, I see no Article
Yeah.
12.
Yeah. I thought that did a, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was,
I had one question, I don't remember ever discussing going from 7 members down to 6.
Yeah, I'd like some clarity on that
I
from
think, you know what,
community
I
development,
think
too.
it's the town council ex officio. Before, this was my interpretation, it was counting it as a member, but then in the same paragraph describing it as an ex officio. I think he just cleaned this up, he didn't want to refer to the same person in 2 different ways.
Ex officio votes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we wouldn't be at a stalemate then, a 3v3.
In one of them, it said, yeah,
Yeah, maximum of 7 commissioner members are authorized to vote.
If we had a tie, things would fail, motions fail on a tie.
Right, well, that's the same, but we have, if we go to 6 members, but if we're including an ex officio as a member, a voting member, then that's 7.
yeah.
So, okay, all right.
I think that's the way, I think it contradicted itself
Unless a member is
before.
not present.
In one place, it said you have 6 members and an ex officio, and another, it said it differently, and it just
Right.
looked confusing.
So we're saying that there's a total of 7 members, 6 appointed MCC members and an ex officio. Okay.
That's it.
Which means we can comply with this.
So we can get a full version of this from email?
Yep.
Okay.
We can if I write a note and read this note to him.
And we still have a motion on the floor.
Oh, no, you have it.
Yeah, you have
Actually,
the email.
you have this, it's in your in the digital packet that was sent. In the digital packet that went to your
Yeah, I
email,
picked
you
up a
have it.
physical one, which is why I'm missing
Yeah.
it.
Okay, do we need further discussion, or can we vote to move this to June 10th? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Oh, actually, I had a quick question.
That was a hand up for a vote.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, but I missed one of my circles. If we see corrections, we just notify community development.
Sure. Should we do that, or should we consolidate a list?
Well, it says, feel free to vote to table adoption, so questions can be asked of staff. There's no specification that we have to gang up.
Just get a spelling blurb, so, no biggie. Who, Stephanie did this?
I think Robert.
Okay.
Nice.
Well,
His
I'll-
name was on this memo.
Okay.
I'm sure it was a collaborative effort.
Yeah, all right. I'll just include you in the email when I send it.
Annual elections, so just the background on this, remember, we only do this once a year. So when we do annual elections, everyone votes. The alternates vote regardless of they're seated or not seated. Give me a look like this isn't true.
Did you?
Yeah, don't they?
The rules of procedure.
I'm not sure
Look under elections, that's the way I interpreted it.
is it on an even page?
Probably.
Chair, this is the existing rules of procedure, Article 5, Part A. Chair, Vice Chair, and Secretary shall be elected by a majority vote of the seated members.
Really? Okay. Scratch what I
And the
said.
ex officio.
I'm not sure why you'd have non-voting members vote.
I think we've done that wrong before.
It's a good chance.
So did you just give me permission to take it away? Is that what you said?
Kind of. Second time tonight. In case you're keeping score at home. So we were in dire need for a talent upgrade in the chair position, and I have found a volunteer, so I will go ahead and make a motion to nominate Eric Starr for the chair position.
Second?
Motion by me, second by Gage. Is there any discussion needed?
Eric, you want this position?
I can take it or leave it. I'm not married to the position, but I've talked myself into it, I guess. So if anyone wants it, I won't fight for it, but I'm okay with taking it on for a year.
Certainly qualified, exceptionally qualified, been with us, been on the commission as long as I have. It's good. This should rotate. So we appreciate that, Eric. Any other need for discussion? Nope. All in favor? Motion carries. 6-0. Eric abstained.
I'll abstain.
It's classic. It's classic. See, he's already doing a better job. I was always the first to vote for myself.
I did too.
I'll make another motion. I'd like to nominate Ellen to be the vice chair.
Second?
Motion by me, second by Gage.
Ellen, you want this position?
For a year, yes, I can do this, thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Any other discussion
Oh,
needed?
yes, that's on the condition I will not be secretary as well.
I see no need for other discussion. All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Ellen abstained. And like to make one other motion while we're at it. I'd like to, this one's, and I can explain during discussion, but I'd like to nominate Tom to be secretary with an effective date of July 1st. Can I get a second, and I'll tell you why?
Second.
Gage, second. Reason, I'd like to take Tom's alternate position. That would be my preference. This is what Tim did, kinda. And that way, but I have to go for the appointment committee, and they have to approve Tom to be a full-time member first, and allow me to take that alternate position. But thank you, Tom.
Okay, I want to realize, you
I'll
asked
help.
Eric if he was okay, you asked Ellen if he was okay.
Karis,
didn't
you wanna ask
me.
Tom?
Tom, do you want this position?
I will tell you the same thing that Eric said. If anybody else wants it, they can have it. But if nobody else wants it, then I'll do it.
And you'll do it very well.
I don't know if I can follow on the
You
footsteps.
will. Confidence is high. Confidence is very
Yeah,
high.
yeah.
How are we gonna cover until July?
I'd be happy to cover those responsibilities till July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, these are for positions that take effect immediately or on July 1st, the beginning of our year?
Next
These
meeting.
Next
immediately,
meeting?
right, yeah. But if even as a non-elected secretary, I'm happy to cover that load. We can go without till July 1st.
And the only job requirement is that you get notes to ComDev within,
However, the
I think
three of
it's
you
3
figure
days.
things out.
Business days.
I try to do it
I've
within
already
one, so I don't
volunteered to
forget.
send like 18 emails out tomorrow anyhow, so I think I've already moved into that role. Any further discussion? Thank you, Tom. All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0, and Tom has abstained.
I can't vote anyway.
That's right. Oh, so that was 7-0? I counted wrong?
That's true.
Fantastic. Let's see, what else we have left? We're getting to the end. Subcommittee appointments. All right, so we have a memo here. Somewhere.
Looks like this. Yep, that's it.
Yep. Someone want to take us through this?
I do have a question,
Mm-hmm.
and we may, I thought on membership for subcommittees, did we disallow the chair from being a subcommittee member?
I'll just add that, I don't know why my name was put under Horse Hill. I didn't volunteer for it, or,
Well, look on the
I'm-
bright side, it wasn't, it was put
I'm-
under Greater Woods.
I saw that.
I'm
that-
under Horse Hill.
No, you're not, read it.
Oh, huh.
I
didn't read
saw
that
that
part.
under the Horse Hill paragraph they put him, but I've acted as the
Yeah.
liaison, and I'll be happy to continue with that at this time.
To the Greater Woods Subcommittee.
Yeah, under this,
So
we might not want to make that motion.
should we do them subcommittee by subcommittee?
Yeah. Makes sense to take them as written.
Okay. Greater Woods, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Gage Perry as the MCC rep for Greater Woods Subcommittee with a term to expire June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Motion by me, second by Ellen. Any discussion needed? Nope. All those in favor?
I'm not classy.
Nice. Motion carries 7-0. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Steve Marble as a member of the Greater Woods Subcommittee with a term to expire June 30th, 2027.
Second?
Second by Gage. Any further discussion needed? No?
Gage, has he served on the or has he
Oh, yes.
been a volunteer?
Active member.
All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. And the last one, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Tony Giancarlo as a member of the Greater Woods Subcommittee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2027. He's also a current member, right?
Second, yeah, he just joined.
Second by Gage.
We actually need a good email for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just saw him today, and he's like, I'm not getting emails.
No discussion needed? No? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Who'd like to
So-
make the Horse Hills motion?
Do you want to remain? Okay.
I'm up to here already with it, I might as well.
I'll make a motion to nominate Ellen Goeb as the MCC representative, term to expire June 30th, 2025.
I'll second
Horse
it.
Hill Subcommittee.
I'll second. Discussion, any needed? Nope, all those in favor? 7-0.
No, she didn't vote.
Who didn't?
She's
Ellen did?
classy.
Oh, Ellen abstained, motion carries 6-0 to 1. You're gonna keep going with Horse
I'll
Hill?
move to make I make a motion to appoint Tim Adams as a member of the Horse Hill Nature Preserve Subcommittee for a term to expire June 30th, 2027.
Second.
And I can affirm he's an active participant
All
in
right.
the subcommittee.
That was a motion by Ellen.
Just to clarify, is that an alternate member or a member?
Alternate, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Catch, to appoint Tony Adams.
Timothy Adams as an
Timothy
alternate
Adams,
member.
as an alternate member. That was seconded by Andrew. All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Andrew, why don't you, take us through a Wildcat?
So first I have a question. Am I already the MCC rep for Wildcat Falls?
Yes.
Has that ever been officially? And when does my term expire?
How good does my memory look?
Isn't the MCC rep, isn't the MCC rep annual, actually?
Is
Like,
it?
doesn't have to be
Yeah.
annually
Yeah.
needed.
Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Let's go ahead. I make a
Alright.
motion to make Andrew the MCC rep to Wildcat Falls, with an expiration of June 30th, 2025. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Gage. All those in favor? Let's see, Karis didn't even have a chance to ask you whether you wanted to stay there or not.
Yeah, I'm stuck with it.
All right, Andrew, go ahead and make a motion for us, would you?
I move to appoint Elizabeth Petrides as a member of the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2027.
I'll second. No discussion, anyone? No? All those in favor? 7-0. Who wants to do Scalar?
Well, you won't be able to do one of them.
We can manage that.
Well, yes, someone else.
Can I
can
ask a question about Sklar?
Yes.
I attended their last meeting, which was last Thursday, and there was a gentleman there who said that he was a new member of the committee, the subcommittee, and I don't have his name with me, but I don't remember anybody being appointed as a member of Sklar. But I wish I could remember his name. But he said he was a member, and he'd been approved, and I thought, I don't remember anybody,
We did appoint someone recently, right?
did we?
We certainly, this is the preferred way to do these, to manage these. If it's someone new, we'd always like to meet them. We don't want that to become an obstacle,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have been Jeff
especially
something.
if they're struggling to meet quorum and we just need to.
I think it might have been Jeff something.
That sounds,
I've got his email and his name and everything. I just didn't bring it with me, and I didn't think of it until I just
I'm not
looked at this list.
I'm not gonna come up with it.
no. I can't recall. If we miss somebody, we can certainly, we can do this at other times. Anytime Eric decides to put it on the agenda.
Take care of the other.
Who wants to do Scalar?
Karis is
I'm
gonna.
going to
Then I'll
do
step in.
at least some of it.
Oh,
Oh, do you want to do it? You go
no,
for
I'll
it.
do yours. You do the rest.
Okay. I make a motion to appoint Tom Martinson as MCC representative to the Sklar Subcommittee for a term to expire on June 30, 2025. Do you want this position?
Yes.
Second. Eric got it, sorry.
Motion by Karis, second by Eric. Any discussion needed? No? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
I make a motion to appoint Karis Welch as MCC representative to the Sklar Subcommittee for a term to expire on June 30, 2025.
Question, Andrew, the motion, rather than to make her an MCC representative, is to make her a full member.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
To make her,
It says MCC rep, but it shouldn't.
As a full member, yeah.
okay, as a full member. Is the term still expiring on 2025, so it's to fill an unexpired portion of resignation? All right. Then I retract that and make a motion to appoint Karis Welch as a full member of the Sklar Subcommittee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Motion by Andrew, second by Ellen. Any discussion wanted on this? Nope. All right, all those in favor? 7-0.
Oh, did I just vote? I
Yes.
thought I just scratched my head. Reflex my
That'll
head.
go
Too
down
late.
on the
It's
record
counted.
as an abstention.
Thanks. I make a motion to appoint Kareen Dunn as a member of the Sklar Subcommittee for a term to expire on June 30, 2027.
Second. Any discussion needed?
Is this someone who's worked on the subcommittee?
Mhm.
Thank you.
I've met her. She's good.
All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Oh,
So
wait.
procedurally, there are some choices here.
I have a question.
Yes.
The one for Michael Druin says to fill it, an unexpired portion, but above it says 2027, and mine does not say the unexpired portion, but it says 2025.
Yeah, I was curious about that too.
I don't know. I don't know if we want to get mired in that detail.
Okay.
I assume hopefully you'll have a wonderful year. serving on that subcommittee, and
Yep.
next year we'll just be able to talk you into whatever
Okay.
we want to.
So
fit
we'll
you.
cross off the dates.
Because I don't know if, and the reason I say is, I don't know if Stephanie
Yeah.
was looking at all the memberships and was trying to stagger things.
Well, as soon as,
Stephanie put a lot more time into this than I did.
Okay.
So she probably had a reason for it. If not, we'll just
Okay.
change it next year.
so I make a motion to appoint Michael Druin as a member of the SCLAR Subcommittee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2027.
2027 or 2026?
2026.
Which one are we going?
2027 is what's written.
27.
Right.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Andrew. This one probably will
Yeah.
garner some discussion.
I personally have no problem with him being a regular member on a subcommittee. He is a very valuable member at SCLAR, and as a subcommittee member but not chair, we would not need to deal with communication challenges that have occurred in the past.
He's certainly incredibly generous with his time. I know my position, my feelings haven't changed since May 22nd of last year, when we voted not to put him on that subcommittee, for the same reasons.
I was under the impression that we weren't supposed to appoint him to anything any longer.
I believe it was looked into.
Could you say that again?
I was under the impression that we weren't supposed to appoint him officially to anything. He wasn't supposed to be an official member of anything any longer.
I think that was looked into and
I've-
disconfirmed.
I've never gotten that,
Okay.
because this is an annual appointment, a position that reopens. It's not something, so normally if we reconsidered something we'd moved either for or against, we would need to reconsider that motion.
Yeah.
This is viewed as a different,
I don't think Gage is referring to a procedural issue. I think you're referring to something that may go against the charter. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
There's a conviction.
Yes, I was in the impression that we.
And I don't know if that conviction, I don't know the answer to that. It's a good question. I would also like to know for sure how long we're appointing him, whether it's 2026 or 2027.
Are there issues because if you can't vote in elections because of a particular type of conviction, then you can't sit in it?
I think that's the question. I don't know the answer to that, right?
Okay.
But I think we should find out the answer to that. And I'll just say for me, I guess I put a lot of weight, a lot of us struggled with communications and a bunch of different issues. But I put a lot of weight into those that are gonna have to work side by side with Michael. And I guess if the two people that are on that SCLAR subcommittee are supportive, then I would put a lot of weight in that.
don't
But I
know
would
much
also
about
encourage you to proceed with
So a
caution.
couple of comments on that. We came up with this a few meetings ago, that although the Conservation Commission itself is a chartered town commission, the subcommittees are not, and are subject to looser, different rules. That said, I don't know whether, his conviction would apply there. On the other hand, if he is a member of the commission, the subcommittee, then he would have at least certain rules that he would have to behave by, and if not, we could take an action. I assume there is some kind of action we can take to take someone off a subcommittee?
Yeah, we did that.
Okay.
We did that.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say we, I wasn't a member
Well,
of the commission at the time.
We just elected not to renew. We didn't remove anybody from any.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, the town council did that
Yeah.
with this appointment, we did that with the SCLAR appointment.
Would it make sense to maybe change the two terms so that Karis gets until 2027 and Michael gets until 2025? 1 year of effectively a probationary period?
Well, I think we need to table it and find out whether
What
we
the
even have
rules
an
are.
option here. I don't know the answer to that, but I think we should probably get with the town manager and ask if, what are our options to make sure whatever we do is the right thing.
That makes sense.
And we should probably make sure we get the term defined too.
Yeah.
Could I just offer something else that, I don't know if this is relevant to what the discussion we're having, but I was at the last meeting. I kind of thought, I'll just do this until June, and then somebody else wants it, they can have it. But I was so impressed by the commitment that right now, the active members have to making sure that everything is done according to protocol. And if there's any question about whether or not we can do this, or whether or not we have to consult with the commission, we're not gonna do anything until we know for sure. So I don't know how those changes would, if that would change anything. But the reason I'm staying is because I was just so impressed with the members who were there.
Thank you.
So, I guess we're gonna table this.
Well, so we have a motion on the
We have a
floor.
motion, so
So
what
do
do
we
we
need to
get?
make?
How do we get ourselves out
How
of
do
this
we,
mess?
do we make a motion or amend the motion to not, to table it?
I think you have to withdraw the motion
Or withdraw the motion?
and withdraw the
Yeah,
second.
withdraw the
I will
motion.
withdraw the motion. I believe I made it.
Okay.
Or did you make it?
Oh, I guess I made the original, you seconded. I make a motion to withdraw the motion.
Second.
I think you just withdraw.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
I
withdraw.
it.
Okay.
So we're gonna make sure we define the term and just get with the town manager, make sure that we can make this appointment
Mhm.
and not,
Whether we can consider.
Yeah,
the
right.
appointment.
All right, so that item is tabled.
I don't think we've actually tabled it. I think we
Oh.
just withdrew the motion.
Make a motion to table it, don't we?
Yeah.
All right, I make a motion that we table this appointment till a future meeting.
I'll second that.
Second by Gage. Was there more discussion?
Do we feel that we're gonna be able to vote on this by the next meeting? We can get this information by the next meeting?
We have
Probably.
I said a future meeting.
Yeah, I would think we should be able
Yeah.
to define this and get this completed by the next meeting. Okay.
So do we want to say that in the motion, that, whatever the date of the next meeting
Yeah.
is?
I amend that, my motion that we'll table that and discuss it on June 10th, at the June 10th meeting.
Otherwise, I think it dies on the table. If you
Okay.
don't specify a date.
Any other discussion? No? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. The minutes.
I move that we approve the draft minutes from the April 22nd, 2024 Conservation Commission meeting with the following amendments. I have one, page 2, line 54. The word trailer should be trail.
I second it.
Oh, sorry. Motion by Ellen, second by Gage.
Sorry, I just couldn't wait to get that.
I know, you were like ripping, that was great.
It was, yeah. Sorry about that.
All right, sorry, page 2, was that over, or line what?
Page 2, line 54.
Oh, trail marker, yeah.
Anything else, anyone? No? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes?
Oh, I had one quick, not really a big deal, but, page 3, line 111, it should just be seedlings.
Okay.
Not the orders. We already placed the orders. Not that that's a big deal, but.
Perfection.
We're being perfection, we should be perfect.
That's okay, you got it.
All those in favor of approving the minutes as amended? 1, 2, 3, 4. Motion carries 6-0. Gage abstained. You abstained, sorry. Andy
did?
abstained.
So who abstained? Thank you.
Andy.
There, actually.
Anyone want to make a final motion?
Move to adjourn?
Second?
Motion by Andrew, second by Gage. All those in favor? 7-0. Have a wonderful night.